So we're just asking questions about God, about God's existence. In fact, we're asking the question, how do I know God's real, or is God real? Does that resonate with you guys at all, or is that really not a question you guys wonder about? Phil, you had some thoughts before.
I just feel like sometimes people use God as a crutch.
Okay.
People say, I believe in God and that there is a God, but I think sometimes that's an excuse to them, because I see that same person go out and do things that aren't God-like. I couldn't describe something off the top of my head. In what I do, I run an employment agency, so I deal with a lot of people, a lot of poverty-stricken people.
Okay.
Section 8 housing, things like that. I see that every day for 15 years of my life, but those people are a lot of the most God-fearing people I've ever met.
Sure.
But yet I see some of the scams they pull, different things like that. They're always trying to, pull one over on somebody, on the person next to them, or on the government, or things like that. But they always go back to God. I hear that a lot, and it's crazy. I hear things like the same person, they'll always in the conversation, have a blessed day, things like that. So those things to me are very conflicting.
So you see it's like it's not consistent. It's not really being genuine.
Right.
So is God real? For them, he's not real. It's kind of like a game for them almost.
Yes. I agree with that.
Okay. All right.
I believe in God. I want to say at least most of the time. Sometimes I have a few doubts, and when I do get those doubts, I have people that say, God told them to do something. Well, why don't I feel that way? Why does it, I feel like I should be feeling this in here like they do, and that, God doesn't talk to me. So maybe I'm confused in that respect. Not that I expect him to, show up and talk to me in person, but I do wish that I could feel it in here more.
Okay. So what kind of evidence would you guys need that would make it really easy to believe in God? Linda, you mentioned the idea that you wish, you're not looking for a voice or even a face-to-face, but a heart experience would really mean a lot for you.
He's there, and he I don't know, I just can't put it into words.
All right.
It's because people always say, God told me to do this and God told me to do that, and I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with me?
Okay.
I know exactly how I feel. That's funny you
Okay.
said that, because I feel like I want to feel like he's right there with me.
Right.
Yeah, I feel exactly how you feel.
Right.
Exactly. That's
better.
interesting.
So what would it take for you guys to know for sure? An inner feeling? Would that do the trick? What would it take for you to know for certain that he's there and that everything's all true?
For me, I think it is kind of the inner feeling, because I just feel like I should. I go to church, and I love it when I'm in church. And when I first started going to church, I would cry almost every Sunday. A song would come, and I would kind of tear up, and then it stopped, and then I thought, well, okay, what's going on here?
All right.
I just totally got confused, so I quit for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, this is not right. I want to give it another shot.
All right.
So I did. And I'm happy there, but I don't know. I guess I want to be able to say someday, well, God told me to do this.
Like everybody else.
Like everybody else. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Any other thoughts on what it would take for you to really be sure of God or his existence?
By personal experience that I've had in my life and in my personal relationship with God, is that most of the times I've found that God has spoken to me in several different ways, and the only thing that I knew it was God is when I was right with God. I knew He was talking to me the whole time, but sometimes because I wasn't right with God, I couldn't hear Him, or I couldn't feel His presence. So it wasn't just a inner feeling. Sometimes God would speak me through other people, and I would have, I would experience Him through other people or through actions or different things. It's just most of the time my personal experience was when I was right with God, I could hear Him, or I could feel Him, I experience Him different ways.
And for you, it was almost the absence of God was even more evident for you. You can tell when things weren't right because you didn't know, have that sense.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, those are some decent questions. Let's take a look at some thoughts about this, and then we'll talk some more after we get back from looking at that.